Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I can't think about anything except getting my Varnashram project going. And I'm very excited. Every day I wake up excited to do this because it's the time.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
So and how is it going on?
Well, let me share my screen. I'll take you through this this PowerPoint presentation that I gave to several godbrothers. So this is back in 1978. I wrote a paper that was inspired completely by Srila Prabhupada. I sent that paper along with a invitation to several godbrothers to come and hear my ideas for establishing that plan, this practical idea for establishing Varnashram Dharma. I put together this PowerPoint to show them, and I'll show you, and then I'll tell you the result of that. Practical program for beginning. My working title for this is Life 2.0. I want another title. Everybody, you can all help me. You can think about a better title. Okay, so Prabhupada. Ultimately, the aim of Varnashram Dharma is to turn a crude man into a pure devotee of the Lord or a Vaishnava. That's what we want to do. We want to establish Varnashram culture. How are we going to do that? You know, you can't do it all at once. It has to take place in a series of stages. And of course, Varnashram is for the people, for the mass of people. The mass of people cannot become Vaishnavas. Varnashram Dharma is a way of organizing society so that everybody can gradually, as Prabhupada is saying here, become a pure devotee of the Lord or a Vaishnava. So this is how we do it. Now, in the past, my efforts at village development, and not only mine, but Shivaram Swami, Bhakti Raghava Swami, all the efforts at our farm projects have not been very successful. Shivaram, probably the best one. But it's not just for devotees. We are the leaders who will train people how to live according to the way that God has given us. So this is the idea. We want to establish Varnashram Dharma, so this is the plan how to do it. Okay? So next stage. So Prabhupada, this is in summer 1977. Prabhupada was quite ill. Practically speaking, he was on his deathbed. He got up from his deathbed to come to Gita Nagari farm with the intention to show us how to live according to Varnashram Dharma. And I was there. We were all very excited. And so this is Aviram. He's saying, from the summer of 77, several devotees were with Prabhupada. We knew that his health was getting weaker. He was talking to the devotees about his imminent departure. I have no lamentation, Prabhupada said, and paused for a few seconds. And he said, no, I have one lamentation. One devotee asked, because you have not finished translating Srimad Bhagavatam? Prabhupada replied, no, that I have not established Varnashram Dharma. I remember one more quote from that summer. Prabhupada said, I want to establish Varnashram. And the devotee asked, how will you do that, Srila Prabhupada? He replied, I will go to Gita Nagari. I will sit down and teach you how to live off of the land. And Aviram said, I personally consider that to be the bij mantra or the seed mantra of Varnashram Dharma. So that's what we're planning to do, to show people how to live off of the land. And this is the perfect time to do that because of what's going on in America. And this is not just America. I'm looking online. Japan is in terrible situation. The situation in Japan is so bad that people just drop out of society. 100,000 a year just vanish. They refuse to participate in their crazy culture anymore, which just makes everybody workaholic. And the young people, both in America and in Japan, they don't see any point in doing anything because there's no future for them. They don't see anything. So this is a little collage of videos that I put together that will give some idea of what we have going on here in America.
Something is breaking in America, folks, and it's not subtle anymore. Groceries are up 25% since 2020. Housing up 45%. Rent declared unaffordable in 98% of U.S. counties. People aren't downsizing, they're being priced out of existence. Right now, over 1.9 million Americans live in vehicles. That number has tripled since 2018, and it's climbing fast. Not because people want adventure, but because the system stopped working for them. Everyone feels it. The pressure, the squeeze, the quiet collapse in slow motion. But here's the part they don't want to talk about. Nomad life is no longer an alternative lifestyle. It's becoming a survival strategy and a movement. Every single day, thousands more join the road. Not homeless, systemless, not lost, unplugged. If you feel like society's cracking, you're not alone.
Over the next 2 years, the life you know will vanish. No warning, no vote, just...
Oops. Sorry.
Something is breaking. No longer an alternative.
2 years, the life you know will vanish. No warning, no vote, just an inferno of artificial intelligence that will burn away everything you're used to. Jobs, relationships, family, religion, economics, warfare. They will all become unrecognizable. I have a lot of fear about AI. I think it's going to be brutally difficult for tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people. 300 million jobs are supposed to disappear, I think, in the next 5 years.
Many people have realized this at this point, that everybody is getting fired, nobody's getting hired, and people are getting replaced with AI and robotics. Have you guys noticed that?
I got laid off today. After 10 years.
I told you guys I was let go today after 20 years.
I keep getting job offers that are extremely lowered wages due to them knowing people are desperate.
I got laid off in May. It is now the end of October.
I feel like I'm going to have a literal mental breakdown. How are people surviving? How are we doing this? Like, single people specifically. Single people in their late 20s that live in a city. How the f are you surviving? Tell me. Please. Please. Can't find a job anywhere. I'm trying to utilize my degree. Can't find a job anywhere. I've been applying for months, almost a year. Can't. Nothing. I'm struggling while living on my own. Struggling. Like, I can't even put food on my table. I can't even afford my bills. I'm playing bill roulette every single month. I feel like I'm gonna throw myself off a cliff.
Do what you gotta do. But I can tell you this now, don't look over to somebody for help when you see that they can't help you. I know a lot of times when people going through it, they ask the people for help. Guess what? The people that still got a job can't help you. You know why? Because they one paycheck away from falling flat, just like you.
So how are we surviving? Because I'm a single mom who works a full-time job. I just got paid, and I have $7 left after paying my bills to last me 2 weeks. I have no food in my pantry. How?
Is anyone else just tired? Just exhausted? The system that we live in today, the world that we live in today, I really do not think that it was meant for humans to live like this. We have a world where all we do is chase paper. I don't think it's natural for humans to live like this.
Let's play a game, shall we? I had a friend in town last weekend, and her brother texted her while we were hanging out and said, guess how much I just spent for groceries at Walmart in North Carolina. Y'all will never guess. Here's a picture of the cart. What do y'all guess the price is for this cart? $496 in North Carolina at Walmart.
You want a clear sign society is collapsing?
My wife Kelly and I have been living in our car for the last 74 days.
I live in my car. I've lived in my car for 9.5 months now.
I guess how I stay warm living in my car during the winter.
Single minimum wage workers are now living in cars, tents, and vans. The so-called wealthy Western world. People aren't buying homes anymore. They're not even renting. They're sleeping in parking lots and behind department stores, all because of the price of simply existing. And these aren't the jobless or the lazy. Many work full-time, doing everything right, but still can't afford a roof. Rent takes up 70% of paychecks. Groceries and gas keep rising, and people are forced to move into cars or RVs. In Los Angeles, streets are lined with vans. In Australia, families live by the beach because rent's impossible. In the UK, van dwellers hide from council fines. They told us if we worked hard, we'd own a home. But that dream was sold to the highest bidder. Now home ownership's not a goal, it's a privilege.
Well, I've hit my breaking point. I literally cannot afford to live, pay bills, or any of this. And why the my life? I almost just bawled my eyes out inside of Walmart because I realized that I literally cannot afford to live. It's either like this is my weekly life. It's either eat, pay money to eat, or don't pay other bills, or pay bills and don't eat, or how do people live like this?
So that's what's going on in America. And America's not alone. All the other countries, the same thing. And what else is going on? What else is the threat? Let's look at this. There's 10 U.S. cities where water shortages can trigger a housing collapse. Now imagine, right, you live in that city, and the only reason these cities can exist is because water and food go in and all of the waste goes out. And when that stops happening, nobody can live there. Prabhupada was on a morning walk in Atlanta, 1975, and the devotees were very proudly pointing to the skyline of their city. Atlanta is a very beautiful city. And Prabhupada pointed with his cane to the skyline and he said, there will come a time when all these people will flee because they will not be able to live there. And in fact, also Prabhupada wrote in I think it was the mid-70s, I'm not sure when, maybe it was 60s. He wrote, this modern civilization will not last more than 50 years. Well, Prabhupada was right on the target. And it's collapsing. And it's collapsing for a number of reasons. Europe is committing suicide by deindustrializing because they won't buy fuel from Russia, and because they're bringing in all these people from Africa who are destroying their culture. So, they're committing suicide. So they will not last also. And then, of course, we have always the warmongers who are doing their best to try to foment war. There's agents within the United States government. Although Trump is trying to stop the Ukraine war, there's people in the United States who want that war, and they're undermining him. So, what do we do? What's the solution? Prabhupada, the Vaishnavas para upakara. Prabhupada, let them go to the farm. We are therefore organizing farm. As soon as they are jobless, come on, we will feed you. We shall give you food. There is no scarcity of food. Hari-śauri. Does that mean we will have to wait for the situation where they become homeless? Prabhupada, we are waiting, but if anyone comes, we have already big farms. Come on, hundreds. We shall provide you. Hari-śauri. But this is talking in terms of millions of people who are engaged in America in the cities. Prabhupada, oh yes, let millions come. The land is also millions of acres we shall utilize gradually. Hari-śauri, is our goal to actually establish Vedic principles back into society again at large? Yes. So that's exactly what we're planning. That's what we're planning to do. And some other reasons why they will come to join us, people they're finished. They've had it with this modern civilization. They can't afford rent. They can't afford the food. They can't afford to live. There's no jobs. They're frustrated with modern life. The food is fake. The relationships are fake. The values are fake. The news is fake. There's a bunch of crazies at the World Economic Forum with a transhumanism agenda. They want to implant something in your head and turn you into a robot, a machine. Then they've got a plan for biological identity markers where they just stick this thing on your skin and you are forever tattooed with a identity. Totalitarian control, cameras watching everything you do, social credit scores, CBDCs, blah, blah, blah. So millions of people are now destitute in every country. So what are they going to do? They don't have any option. Like you heard those people say, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to live. So what's our plan? Our plan is, if they can't come to us by the tens of thousands unless we make a design for that. And that's exactly what I'm setting out to do. And I'm creating that plan right now. And this is how it will work. The concept is very simple. We're going to create training farms. And we'll start out by training the trainers. Then from those training farms, those who are trained, they go to the circles, or what I call farm hoods, right? So not a neighborhood, but a farm hood, where people go and they live independently on the land, cooperating with each other. So we train people, we train the trainers here, the trainers go to these farms and then train the people that are coming to how to live a new culture, a new way of living, of mutual dependence, where they take care of each other instead of exploiting each other, instead of taking. They have to learn how to give. And the good news there is that everybody gets to do what they want to do. They can choose how they want to contribute, but everybody must contribute in some way. So that's the scheme, and we'll have many of these. We want to have hundreds of farms to receive people by the tens of thousands. Is that clear? Any questions about this?
As much as I can understand, the group, this farmhood, should be quite large to give an opportunity to everybody to choose the kind of their contribution. If the group is small, then people just must do what must be done. Sure.
Well, okay. That will be the case in any way, because when a civilization is just beginning, everybody has to wear a lot of hats. We have to transform ourselves from being consumers to being producers. And that's going to take a lot of learning on everybody's part. And first thing that we'll do is require everyone to grow food. Anybody that doesn't eat doesn't have to grow food. But otherwise, whoever's going to eat, they have to grow food. So they have to learn that. And then some will have to learn to produce all of the other things that people want in life. So this is a reorientation. Now, the beginning is going to be to becoming established to develop the infrastructure for independent living that we want to. Our plan is to prepare for the time when money is useless, when the supply chains break down and their store no longer provides any solutions. If you want a solution, you're going to have to figure out a way to do it by yourself or with the help of your friends. In terms of these farms being very large, no, the idea is that we want them to be not more than 150 people in each place. We don't want to duplicate the wrong ideas of modern society where everything becomes so large and impersonal. We want it to be personal, where everybody relates to everybody else, can actually know others, so that, it's like if you don't know people and it's too large, it becomes impersonal. Just like the temple here in Alachua. There's like 1,500 people there. And because the temple is not big enough for everybody, they want to expand the size of the temple. And I'm saying, no, don't expand it. Just create another one and make it smaller, because you can't relate to 1,500 people, right? You go in there and you stop saying hi to people because you don't know them and you can't remember everybody's name. So it must be small. And that means you create a lot of them. So in India, when Prabhupada says, you produce what you need, that means within a group of about 5 or 7 villages that are nearby, you can produce everything. And I read a statistic some time ago that in a group of about 2,000 men, just a small number, 2,000 men, practically everything that's needed can be produced. So 150 150 people at a farm means what? Means probably 50 families or 60 families. So then you need, a dozen of those communities within a day's horse ride to be able to deal with all the production. So that's the scheme right now. It's not set in stone. Everything has to be developed, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error, but we have to focus on the goal, what we want to achieve, and then set out to do this. Now, I should say a word about the management system, because I don't have a slide in here for that. And that is that we're going to use Srila Prabhupada's method of management, which is called chaotic. That term was coined by somebody else, by the fellow who invented the Visa credit card. And it's a system of chaos and order. And it's very simple. What Prabhupada did was give us what the goal was to achieve. Go and establish temples all around the world. Do as I told you, and Krishna will help. It's that simple, right? So this stuff it's not complicated. Okay. Everybody gets the idea. And then you work together to establish, to create the result. So there's no hierarchy. There's no, again, avoiding the things that made modern civilization terrible, right? This hierarchical, top-down, institutional control. This is not part of Vedic culture. There was no institutions in Vedic culture. There was only, let's say, authority was given to a person of capability. To the most capable people had the most authority. And if you weren't capable, you didn't get authority. So we know the capable people are the Dvijas, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas. And those who do not demonstrate skill in those ways, they become the helpers, the workers. So there's no shame in modern society of being a worker. Everybody's looking for a job, right? And those who can, they can organize, and those who can't, they do the work. It's very simple. So this way, Prabhupada said, first Varna, then ashram. So first we will do Varna. And what's that mean? That everybody works according to their ability. That's all. It's very simple. You choose what you can do. You work. Ideally, you work to the level of your highest ability. Every man wants to do that. He wants to actually be challenged in his work. So that makes it satisfying for him. He has to grow. He has to reach. He has to try to develop himself. So that is wanted, where everybody can work according to their highest capacity. And then the workers, they become skilled at their trades. And instead of having machines do things, the men will do things and have a lot of satisfaction in their work. You become a skilled tradesman. And this gives a lot of satisfaction. And Krishna, he says in Bhagavad Gita, that by a man's own work, he can become perfect. So that's also what we're aiming for here. Vanashram Dharma, how to come closer to Krishna. So this is the organizational scheme. At the same time, there will be some requirements, right? No electronics on these farms, no phones, no computers, no nothing, right? And so what happens? People have to get to know each other, right? That's what will happen. I was in my mother's house in Detroit, and the electricity went out for 1 week. And it was really nice. What happened was everybody came out of their houses and started talking to each other because there was nothing else for them to do. It was great. So, these farms, again, we are preparing for the time when there is no electricity, when there is no money is useless. You can't go to the store and buy anything. We want to get set up for that. And the way that we're going to do that is to actually live that. And then we will realize, what do we need? And in the beginning, we'll be able to go and buy the things we need to establish that infrastructure. Okay, we'll need hand tools. Yes, hand tools for working with wood, hand tools for working with metals. Of course, we'll use oxen for power. And so many, anyway, we'll see firsthand what is needed to live without the outside world, but we'll still have the opportunity to go and purchase what we need to be able to do that. Right? If you want a shovel, now, right, you go to the store and you buy a shovel. When your money's no good, the supply chain is broken down, the trucks are not running, and you need a shovel, what are you going to do? You're going to have to make your own. Are you going to be able to do that? Yes or no? Or let's take food, for example. Okay. We can grow a lot of food. Anybody has had a garden, you can grow so much food on a very small acreage of land. And so much you can't use it all. Well, you have to put food by, as they say, or canned food or preserved food for over the winter. So yes, we have to prepare for that. We have to get either the way to do canning or jars to put things in. We have to get the things that we need to preserve food so that we can have food through the winter. We have to learn how to preserve food, how to protect it from rats or from vermin. So all those things, that's the first stage while we're still able to go to the store and buy what we need. Any questions so far?
Who will earn money for buying what we need?
Money's going to come by donation.
And if not?
What?
If not?
No. Krishna will supply. Krishna will supply, right? We must understand how this world works, first of all, okay? How does this world work? We desire. That's all we can do. We desire. And Krishna is that self-sufficient philosopher who is supplying everyone's desire from time immemorial, right? He's fulfilling everyone's desire from time immemorial. So, 327 Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunarikamani Sarvasha Hankara Vimudatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. The bewildered spirit soul under the influence of Maya, or the three modes of material nature, thinks that he's the doer of activities, but actually those results are given by Krishna's material nature. So we desire, and Krishna will supply. And there's a lot of people who are looking for solutions to this. Because just imagine, you're some rich guy in the city and you see it collapsing, right? And then what are you going to do? If you don't use your money to help develop these farms that can help you as well as everybody else, you're on your own. And if you're on your own, good luck.
Guruji, you have shown us this video college, and we have seen a lot of people who were fired and they have no money even to eat or pay their bills.
Yes.
Who will donate? And meanwhile, you are telling about all of this, and I am comparing just at the moment with our life in New Indraprastha. I remember it very well. It was wonderful to live with such a team on the land, and with you, of course, there. But you say our task is to desire, and Krishna will fulfill. But I can remember me myself working all day long because, well, I had to, because I was maybe the only one who earned money, who could earn money. And there was no question of just desiring. It was a question of just working and working and working.
No, okay, that doesn't mean we sit down and do nothing and Krishna will send everything. No, of course not. Everybody will have to work hard, right? But let me give you an example of New Vrindavan. In the early days, right, they had no money. They had a lot of devotees there. They had to go collect money. They went out on teams in vans, traveling to different places and doing all kinds of things to get money. But there were people who appreciated what they were trying to do. And there was one doctor who he had a lot of appreciation for what the devotees were trying to do. So he came there and he offered his services. He would come once or twice a month, and whoever was ill, they could go see him, and he would, diagnose their problem and suggest some remedy. So there will be people like that. Okay, this is not something we're going to do alone. We are going to advertise very widely. Come on, we're creating a new way to live, Life 2.0. Come and join us, right? And help whatever way you can. If you're not ready to join us, then you provide whatever you can. You can give energy, come on the weekend and participate, help develop it. You can give your money. or you can send goods. So that's there's another part of this called Partners for Life, which I will explain next week, which is a way of organizing everybody to cooperate together to develop these projects. So, yeah, it will happen because why? Main thing we understand is our acharyas wanted it to happen, right? Bhaktivinoda wanted it. Bhaktisiddhanta wanted it. Srila Prabhupada wanted it. So because of their desire, it will happen. Plus, Srila Prabhupada said, the demigods are standing in line to take birth in this movement, and they are appearing, right? There's many young men and women born into this movement and who are born elsewhere in the world who will come, and they will be the ones who will actually make it happen. We are simply trying to lay the foundation. We're trying to create the foundation that everything else can be built on. But Krishna will send those people. I have complete faith in that. Whatever is needed will come. We have to do what the organizing, right? Prabhupada said, for every endeavor, what do you need? You need organization, management, and money or facility. So, okay, so let me explain what happened with this. I made this presentation to 3 godbrothers, one of whom had land. He had access to land and could commit a fair amount of land. And he said, if you put together a solid plan, I will give you that farm to use and money to develop it. So, right. So again, there's people with money, they don't know what to do. Devotees, we know what to do because Prabhupada has trained us, right? We can see the problem, we can see the solution because Prabhupada has trained us. Other people, they don't know what to do. Either they can't see it coming, which is most of people, they can't see 2 weeks into the future. So it's only when they lose their job and they go, well, shucks, what are we going to do now? Right? But there's others who can see things coming, but they don't know what to do. Why? Because they're used to simply taking care of themselves. Modern society trains everybody to take care of themselves. And there's a lot of people doing that. They're called preppers in America. They're preparing for these future times when civilization breaks down. And they're going and, gathering, making their farm and, their homestead. And I was reading from one guy today was writing about this, and he says, yes, you will have animals, but you have to be careful because your animals also become targets. So you have to make sure that people don't see your animals because they're going to come and try to steal them. Well, we're not going to do that because what are we going to do? We're going to feed people. It's not that we have ours and you don't have yours, so tough luck, right? That's modern society. I've got money. You don't have money, too bad. We don't take care of each other in modern society. But that's not para upakara, right? And the karmis, they're not para upakara. The devotee, the Vaishnava, he is para upakara. He's concerned about the welfare of everyone and wants to see that everyone is taken care of, not only materially, but spiritually. So that's our endeavor. That's what we are doing. And that's what this whole scheme is about. It's not about us. It's not about our survival. It's about saving all of these people so that they can ultimately go back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada said in the future, he said, we will pave the way back home, back to Godhead. Pave the way. So we all know how nice it is. You drive on a paved road, right? So you think of the pioneers They didn't have any roads. They had wagons, bumpy, going over unpaved roads. So it's our forefathers who took all the trouble to paving those roads that we are indebted to. Well, that's what we're doing. We're paving the road back to Godhead, and it's hard work. But Krishna is giving the intelligence, he's giving the ability, he's giving the facility. We have to engage ourselves according to our ability. Whatever ability we have to understand that, and we have to find a way to contribute. So let me see what other slides I have here. Yeah, so this is basically spelling it out. We are creating teaching farms that receive, train, and place hundreds of people. Trained people will then go to the farm hoods. They will stay out and help develop it. Practical hands-on learning with self-sufficiency skills. But we are giving the ideology of how do we live together? How do we live this life of taking care of each other? Instead of exploiting each other, we're going to learn how to care for each other, right? And how's this going to happen? Because on the farm, in the village, life is sattva gun. Simply by being there, you give up your rajas and tamas. After a while, they will fade away, and you can come to sattva. And that's particularly if you have your hands in the dirt, or if you're caring for the animals, particularly you care for the cow. The cow is sattva gun personified. Simply by being with those animals, you become sattvic. They're so nice, they're so peaceful. And so everyone that we bring, we will give them some experience of taking care of the cows and learning how wonderful, how nice those cows are, and learning how to work with them. So this natural way of life that Krishna has given us, which is sattvic, people can come to sattva. It's only because they're in the cities, they're in the modes of rajas and tamas, that they are becoming conditioned by that. But they can also become conditioned by sattva if they're given the opportunity to do that. So that's what we're trying to do. We're working to create that alternative. Now, there's already people who are doing this. Let me show you some. Back in 2020, right, when Klaus Schwab came out with his idea of the Great Reset. Maybe you all remember hearing the Great Reset. And so this group, I was thinking also at the time, this is a time for Varnashram Dharma. And we have a greater reset. Well, there's a group here, these fellows here, John Bush and his friends, they were also doing the same idea, the greater reset, and they started having what they called exit and build here. Exit and build, the land summit. And they would put on seminars where they brought people there who would train people how to live on the land. The only problem with this is that everybody's learning how to do that individually, not collectively. But anyway, they're getting a start. This idea has been going on now for 5 years and very successfully with them. Okay, now here's somebody else. They're doing this, but they're doing it collectively. So here's another little video we'll play.
3 things you need because the world is crazy right now. Number 1, land. Land is the foundation of real resilience. If you want to be free from the control system and its agenda, then you need land. Doesn't mean that you need to own it, but you definitely need to have access to it. Number 2, water, energy, and food security. Clean water source, off-grid energy, and independent food production. When you have these things, you have the essentials of life without depending on the mainstream system. Again, this doesn't mean that you need to own or run your own farm, but you definitely need to have access to one. And number 3, an awake network. If you want to just survive the agenda, then land, water, energy, and food may be enough. If you want to thrive, if you want real resilience, then you need a network. Awake people who think like you, see what's coming, want to share skills, resources, and knowledge, and support each other when shit hits the fan. Again, you don't need to build a network from scratch, but you do definitely need to be a part of one. And if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, no shit, I know I need those things, but I've got no idea how to get them, you're not alone. And this is the exact reason we built the Wild Minds Network. It's a worldwide community to help you access land, build food security, and create real freedom. If you want to check it out, just comment, join, and I'll send you the link.
So this is a new group, this Wild Minds Network. This is on the right side is their from their website, and you can see on the bottom here it says we have just launched, so you can get early access. So they're starting to do the same thing. So it's other people are doing this. Krishna is not depending on us. If we don't do it, somebody else will, right? But we have something that they don't have, which is Varnashram culture. And so this is the time to act, right? It's up to us. We have to do this. This is their YouTube channel. They have a lot of shorts there, a lot of short videos explaining what they're doing. So you can check that out. It's Wild Mind Community on YouTube. Do you get YouTube in Russia?
No, it is blocked. You should
no. Oh, okay. Well, Grundar, you're in Georgia, so maybe you can get it down there. Anyway, it's just an example that there are people who are doing this, and then there's this other group. This one woman, Catherine Austin Fitz. She was the assistant housing secretary. Assistant housing secretary for the Reagan administration back in the 80s. But she's got a very, very aware and intelligent network. So they're creating what they call the Young Builders course, looking for sharp young men to train how to become builders of the future. So we need to do that also. Right, to train young men particularly. They're going to be the leaders. They're the future of the world. We need to train them how to become proper leaders in Varnashram culture. So I've started doing that also. I've got an ad. I've got a website I'm putting together now, looking for the man who would be king, and which means what? Looking for Kshatriya. So there was recently this protest in America against Trump. No kings. Everybody's saying no kings, no kings. So my ad is yes, kings. We want kings, but not. We want the kind who are going to protect and build and guide. And so I'm putting that website together now, and AI is helping me find the places to advertise for that, and I'm also putting together a curriculum to train kings, which will be the leaders, right? They will be, for each one of these farm hoods, we need a king, right? A king who will organize people and help them, sort out their differences and make everything happen. So, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. We need Brahmanas actually also who are trained for this specifically. What do we have in ISKCON as Brahmanas? I'm not sure. But I'm not sure that we have many who are trained, who are thinking like this, how to lead society. And so besides training kings, we need to train Brahmanas also. So it's a huge, huge project. And, but I've been thinking about this my entire life since 1977, since I lived on the farm there. And so let me also say that there's another wonderful example of what we have to do. So there is a woman, I think I've told you about her before, Helena Norberg Hodge. She lived in Ladakh in the 60s before Ladakh was open to outsiders. It was a closed country. And Ladakh is very high. It's Kashmir. It's Kashmir, north of Pakistan and northwest India. And I think it's like 8,000 or 9,000 feet elevation. Very, very austere living. But the Ladakhis, they were living a very sattvic lifestyle. And so when she went there, they agreed to let her into the country to study their culture with the agreement that she would not bring anything from the West with her. So she didn't come there to spoil their culture, simply to observe it. So they were touring her around after she first got there. She saw everybody had nice, big, spacious houses. And she asked them, "Show me where the poor people live." And they looked at her with a bewildered expression. What are poor people? They didn't have any poor people, right? They all lived the same. There was no distinction between rich and poor, wealthy and poor. Why? Because in a subsistence economy, you don't create and build and stack up wealth like you do in a money economy. In a money economy, the whole idea of the demons. Now, the money economy is developed by demons, and the reason they did that is so that they could enjoy unlimitedly and have wealth that they could spend easily and wealth that would not spoil. So they've created this very artificial money economy that creates poverty. It creates disparity of rich and poor. That does not exist in a subsistence economy. Subsistence economy means you produce what you need. And this is Prabhupada's instructions for us. You produce what you need, and a little bit more in case of spoilage, right? And if there's any extra, that you can sell. But he said, you don't produce for the market. You don't produce to sell and make money. If you do that, it will fail. So this is what we want to do. Now there's a video. You can see this video, Ancient Futures, Learning from Ladakh. It's on the search for it. You could probably find it in Russia because it's on their own website. And I believe the name of the website is learningfromladakh.com or .org. The video is there. It's also on YouTube. So, and this video is very instructive because what it shows is how when Ladakh opened the country up for tourists, how that destroyed their culture. People came in with money, and it was money that made the Ladakhis feel impoverished. Prior to that, everybody was living a sattvic life, very happy. But when money came in, it brings with it what? Rajas, right? And what's Rajas? More, more, more. Get, get, get. I want, I want, I want. And so she states how the tourists could spend more money in a day than the Ladakhis would earn in a year, and then suddenly they feel poor. So you watch this video and you can understand that we have to go exactly backwards. We have to go from Rajas and Tamas to Sattva. And this shows why. It shows how the Sattvic life is very happy. With the Sattvic life, you do not have the tangible things. You do not have the goods, the stuff that everybody wants to buy. But what you have is the intangible stuff that makes everybody's lives happy and fulfilling. You have time for each other. You have companionship. You have security because everybody else is taking care of you, just as you were working to take care of everybody else. So it's a very secure and happy culture, and that's what we want to develop. Not from goods, not from money, not from stuff, but from Krishna, God, serving God, and living according to the way that he gave us, according to the Ishavasham principle, right? You're entitled to what you need, and that's been arranged for you, but don't try to take anything else. And Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, or in Isopanishad rather, it states, one can go on living for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working that way, because that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man, meaning that there is no successful alternative. Yes, we have a money economy that's alternative, but it's not successful. It's failing billions of people, right? Billions of people. The increased productivity of society is not going to the people. Since 1975, it's split off. The increased productivity is going to the wealthy class, and the working class is being marginalized to the point where they can no longer survive. So please do watch that video. That's what we want to create. That's what we want to go back to. So that's all I have set up for this PowerPoint. Any other questions? Yes, no?
As far as I understood, you don't have such a form which is valid right now. Am I right? I'm asking that as far as I understood, you don't have such a training form which is valid right now, which is already teaching people how to live this very life.
What we have is this concept that I'm showing you.
Okay, yes.
Everything begins with an idea. This is the idea.
Yes. That's why I asked, because if there are some locations where people maybe started gathering or something like that. That's why I asked this question.
Well,
okay, thank you.
I want to promote this all over the world. Okay, everybody can do this. Wherever we have an ISKCON farm, they can take this idea and use it to develop the same thing. And so, I'd love for you to, well, perhaps we should do this again with Russian translation so that it can be promoted in Russia. Now, the people who are doing it there already are the followers of Vissarion in Siberia, and they're doing a wonderful job. Of course, they don't have the concept of Varnashram Dharma, okay, which we need to add. So, and Prabhupada said, yes, this can be done in any part of the world, okay? Again, only the Vaishnavas can do this, because it is only us who have the understanding of the training, how to live in this world according to the way that Krishna created and the culture that allows it to be successful. Okay, there were there are many societies around the world that live on the land, but they don't have Varnashram culture. They don't have that way of understanding how to organize materially and specifically so that by one's own work, they can become perfect, right? We need the spiritual aspect of this, of Vaishnavism. And it doesn't have to be done in a sectarian way. In fact, in my conception, what we'll do here in America, or you do in Russia, because most people are Christian, my idea is that in the evening, again, because there won't be any electronics, in the evening, everybody will come together and they'll read from the Bible, or they'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam or Mahabharata, something like that. And that way, everybody gets on the same page in terms of what the spiritual culture is, what they're trying to share. So this is the concept, okay? How it's going to be put into practice, that's going to depend on those individuals who are doing it and their understanding. And it may well be different here and there depending upon the local culture. But that's okay, as long as the basic principles, okay? The principle and detail. The principles are worship of God, devote your life to God, live simply so that you can have time for serving God. That's the principle. How that's done, that can be changed anywhere.
And the society of such farms, they have to be vegetarians, no meat eating. Am I right? Or how to do with that, with those people?
They cannot.
Yes,
No, of course, for our farms, no, absolutely vegetarian. Not only vegetarian, but prasadam. Must be prasadam. Because only by taking sanctified prasadam can we can become satisfied, right? The tongue can be satisfied. It can be Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? One can conquer over the tongue by taking Krishna prasadam.
And regarding
those who don't want to do that, this is a closed society. It's a closed group. Okay? People can only participate there by the agreement of others. And if you're not going to follow the rules, that's okay. Go away. Just like King Parikshit, right? Here in my kingdom, you can't harm this bull and this cow. You have to get out of here or I'm going to kill you. And so Kali surrendered to him. So it's going to be exactly like that. There's kings, and the king is his kingdom, and he's the one who's going to determine how everything's going to be done. And if you don't like it, hit the road.
I know that the Society of Visaruan, they are vegetarians, but I'm not sure they take prasadam. I don't know. You have spent several, maybe even months there.
No, they're not even vegetarian.
Really?
I don't think so.
I read somewhere that they were vegetarian. Maybe something changed from
maybe
that time.
Many of them, but Nina's not vegetarian, I don't think.
Oh, Nina, yes. She's not. Yes, that's true.
Anyway, for us, yeah, definitely, absolutely vegetarian. Prasaditarian.
Guruji, do you remember that scam of the devotee? Can't remember his name, in St. Petersburg. He presented his project to you then in 2013.
The one we stayed with there?
Yeah. And do you remember there were concentric circles? So there were brahmanas in the center, ISKCON brahmanas or Vaishnava brahmanas, and then people who can share our values to that or this extent, and they should live gradually So they could gradually enter this central circle.
No, I don't remember that, but if you can find him and put us together again, I'd be very interested to contact him.
He was so much inspired by your ideas.
Yeah, so we should contact him again. Anything else? All right, Krishna, Elena, do you have any questions? Could you follow any of that?
Hare Krishna, Guruji, my obeisance to you. I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Okay, well, if you have any questions about it, you can ask the others.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
You came a little late, but I'm explaining this is what I'm working on now, very enthusiastically, very feverishly because this is the time to make this happen. Okay, then. Thank you for your association. And chant your japa attentively and read Srila Prabhupada's books minimum 1 hour every day. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.